I don't know if you guys can hear that noise coming from over there, but it's very loud. Hopefully it's not going to be louder than I am. But if you guys saw last video, you guys saw that I installed, well, we installed the street arrow diffuser on my Genesis Coupe, and pretty much all of you guys were quick to point out that these side fins are installed backwards. Now, I've been looking around, looking at pictures, videos of what they're supposed to look like, and I'm not gonna lie, man, I really kind of like how they look this way. Like, with them pointing forwards instead of the point coming backwards, the wheels are actually, or the wheels and tires, I guess, are actually what stick out the farthest. And I feel like if the diffuser stuck out wider than the wheels and tires, it might look kind of weird. Now, don't get me wrong, it looks sick when the side fins are the correct way, but like, I don't know if I want to change it, man. You guys let me know down in the comments below if you guys think I should flip it or just leave it how it is. And also, here is a better look at the diffuser. I know it was dark last video, so it was kind of hard to see. So here's a better look at it. It just looks so aggressive, looks so good, man. Changes up the back end of this car literally completely. Like, I mean, it's so sick. Now that we have addressed the side fin issue and given you guys a better look at the diffuser, let's go ahead and hop into today's video. So as you guys already know by the title and the thumbnail, today we are going to be talking about, is the Genesis Coupe a reliable car? Now, I know I've touched on this in videos in the past, but since then I've gotten, I mean, 10s, 20s, I've gotten just a lot of DMs and comments just asking, is this a reliable car? Is this a good first car? So today I figured I would answer that question in full detail. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and say right off the bat, since I've owned this car, it has been super reliable for me. Really no major issues, no really issues at all. Just have to take care of regular maintenance, and that's about it. Now, that's not to say that I haven't had issues with this car, and there are a lot of common problems with this car, but to me, so far, over about the 3 years that I've owned it, it's really cost me nothing more than regular maintenance. But to give you guys an example of something I'm actually dealing with, a problem with the car right now, I'm trying to figure out if it needs new wheel bearings or not. Now, the steering wheel doesn't shake like a crazy amount or anything like that. I really think the only reason why it shakes is because I've yet to install the hub-centric rings, but as I've said before, I can hear this slight like ticking sound coming from the front right, or yeah, front right and front left tire, and I have no idea what it is. I've tried to get a video of it before, but it just does not pick up on camera. I'm really hoping that the wheel bearings don't actually need to be replaced, and it's just because I've yet to install hub-centric rings. Now, honestly, the reason I've yet to install them is because I have no idea what to get. I got 74.1 to 67.1 or 67.3 or whatever, and those did not fit. I heard somebody else say they got 73.1 to 67.1. Those also did not fit, so I'm kind of at a loss. I have no idea what size to get. If you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. But besides that issue, this car has been pretty problem-free. So now with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about some common issues that the Genesis Coupe has. There is what is making that loud sound. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's an excavator with a jackhammer attachment. I gotta find a new spot. So the first problem that you will more than likely experience at some point throughout your Genesis Coupe ownership will have to do with the leaky trunk that these cars have. Pull this up, grab this, and then down here where the spare tire is at is what fills with water in this car. And man, when I tell you it fills with water, like this spare tire right here will literally almost be underwater. Not actually, but it's pretty close. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of water that this trunk collects. Now, there are a few ways that you can go about fixing this problem, and the first way that you can go about fixing it is to replace the stock taillight gasket. So I obviously have the Spec Ds, but if you still have the stock taillights, you can literally just call up your local Hyundai dealer, tell them you need a set of rear taillight gaskets. They'll send them to you. I believe they're like 50 bucks max. It's kind of expensive, but for what it can save you in water damage, it is definitely worth it. So then all you do is unscrew these lights, pull them out, slap on the new gasket, stick it back in, and if that doesn't fix the water leak, then the only other thing that I've found that has fixed mine is these Spec D taillights. So these taillights actually come with a different gasket than the stock OEM ones, and they seem to work super great. I've had these Spec Ds installed for probably close to a year now, and since then I've had no water leak into the trunk, no condensation in the lights, no nothing. So really the only permanent fix that I've found is just to get yourself some aftermarket Spec D taillights. The next problem that you will more than likely experience at some point has to do with the interior plastics in this car, and I've talked about this before, so I'm just going to briefly touch on it. But basically, these gunmetal gray interior plastics just do not hold up well to heat and just time, basically. If you guys have a look right here, you can see that my steering wheel is starting to peel. Right here, it's starting to peel around the shifter. The shifter itself is starting to peel around the front here. I don't know if you can really see it, but I can feel it right there. Besides that, both door handles, well, I guess not about both. The driver's side door handle seems to be holding up fine, but the passenger side door handle, I don't know if you guys can see that, it's falling apart. And then worst of all, these things right here, the door handles in the car. Now I've wrapped mine matte black, but before they were wrapped matte black, it looked like this, except it looked like it was sanded off and just, it looks so awful. Now I haven't really found a way to combat this problem. Maybe if your car is garage kept, you won't ever have to deal with this, but for those of you who are like me that have to keep your car parked out in the sun, best of luck to you guys. Now the next issue with the Genesis Coupe has to do with the stock wheels that come on this car. So as most of you guys probably know, I have some aftermarket ESR wheels on the car now, but when I had the stock ones on, I mean, I don't know what caused it, but they literally just started to completely peel apart. All the silver paint on all four of the wheels started to chip and peel. Every time I would wash the car, more of it would peel off and chip off, and it just looks so terrible. Now I plasti dipped the stock wheels and that obviously held everything together, but now I'm scared to unplasti dip them because I'm sure peeling the plasti dip off will more than likely peel all the stock paint off. But yeah, for some reason, the wheels on these cars, the stock wheels that is, just don't hold up, and the paint after a certain amount of time just starts to peel and chip away. And also with this problem, I've yet to see or hear or find anything online that talks about something you can do to prevent that from happening. It seems like something that literally happens to every single Genesis Coupe, and the only thing you can really do is get yourself some aftermarket wheels. The final common issue you will more than likely experience while owning a Genesis Coupe has to do with the manual cars in specific, and obviously mine's an automatic. You guys like to give me hell for that, but anyway, with the manual cars, second gear lockout is a major issue. Like, I don't know what it is. I've never driven one to experience it myself, but pretty much you go to shift into second gear and it just sounds like the car's about to explode and it won't go into second gear. I have no idea how to fix this. I've heard that the Megan Racing transmission mount and stuff like that will fix this issue, but like I said, I don't own a manual. I've not installed any of those mods, so I can't answer that for myself. But yeah, something else to look out for if you're wanting to get a manual Genesis Coupe, make sure you test drive the car thoroughly and see if you experience any second gear lockout issues. So now that you guys know about some of the common problems the Genesis Coupe has, let's go ahead and talk about how much it's cost me to own this car since the time I bought it versus how much it costs on average to own a car per year. But before we talk about that, I think you guys are owed a full send or two. We'll just have to see. Alright, now here is the stack of maintenance records I've accumulated since I've owned the car. It's a pretty hefty stack if I do say so myself, but everything is basically just routine, regular maintenance. So the first paper in this stack dates all the way back to 11/10/2017, and I believe I took the car in, well, this paper actually, to be more specific, it was for a used car inspection. I believe I took this car in like the day after I bought it, so that would mean I bought it 11/9/2017. It's been close to 3 years since I've owned the car, and like I said, basically all these papers are just for routine maintenance. So now that you guys know how long I've owned this car, let's go ahead and total all these numbers up and see how much I've paid in maintenance costs. So from 11/10/2017 to 7/6/2020, I've paid about $1,290.25 in maintenance fees on this car. Now, like I said, all those papers are basically for maintenance fees. That doesn't include like exhaust installs, downpipe installs, just mod installs. That is all maintenance fees. So I've paid about $1,300 in about 3 years of ownership in maintenance fees on my Genesis Coupe, which comes down to about $400-ish a year, which is really not too bad to own this car. So now that you guys know exactly how long I've owned this car and exactly how much I've paid in maintenance fees on this car, let's go ahead and talk about what exactly it costs to own a car on average per year. So a quick Google search later and I have this number, $8,469 a year on average, or $706 a month. And I guess this was also in 2017, and this is according to AAA. Now I'm assuming this does not only factor in maintenance fees, this probably includes car payments and insurance and everything like that, but just in maintenance fees alone per year I pay about 1/20th of the average cost, according to AAA, that is, to own a car per year. But like I said, that $400 I pay a year in maintenance is not factoring in insurance payments or anything like that. If I were to factor those in, the yearly cost would be a lot closer to $1,500-1,600, but still, considering everything that we just looked at, $8,500 a year versus about $400 a year in maintenance on this car and about $1,500 a year in insurance, I mean, that is a major difference. But on average, it seems like this car costs less to own per year than your average car, which for what the car is, that's a great deal in my book. So now that you guys know a little bit about how much the Genesis Coupe costs to own, let's go ahead and talk about things to look out out for when you're looking to buy a Genesis Coupe for yourself. So if you are in the market to buy a Genesis Coupe, there's really two main things you want to look out for. The first of those things is to make sure that the car has been labeled properly. And what I mean by that is literally every time I get on Car Gurus to look at Genesis Coupes, I see a 3.8 track labeled as a 3.8 R spec and vice versa. I mean, the dealers just do not know how to label these cars. They do not know the difference in the trims on these cars. So do your own research. Make sure you yourself know the main differences in the trims, so that way you can tell if it's a good deal or not. And that way, if you're looking at a 3.8 track and it's actually a 3.8 R spec, you're not getting overcharged for that car. And the second thing you want to look out for is, even though that the car may have a clean Carfax, look at all the pictures thoroughly and make sure all the body panels and everything lines up properly, because you would be amazed at how many of these cars are labeled as a clean Carfax and everything, but the car's been wrecked and put back together just in a Frankenstein form, basically. Take it from me, I learned the hard way. I bought a Genesis Coupe, this one right here that you guys are seeing me drive and you guys seeing all the videos. I bought it with a clean Carfax. Come to find out, the car had been wrecked before. So yeah, make sure you yourself inspect the car thoroughly in person and in pictures before you pull the trigger on one. And to make everything easier, just get the car inspected by a mechanic. They will be able to tell you probably within 5 minutes if the car's been wrecked or not. So I actually had a listing saved on Car Gurus to show you guys. However, it has either been taken down or sold, or hopefully it was taken down and not sold, or the listing was reported, because if somebody bought it, they got majorly ripped off. But basically, it was a 2013 3.8 R spec. However, it was labeled as a 2013 3.8 track. Now, the main way that you could tell it was an R spec and not a track is because it had the smaller R spec screen in it. It did not have the big touchscreens in it. And also, besides that, the car was wrecked. And the only way you could tell was every other thing on the car looked perfect, except when you come around to the back right side, this body panel was completely dented in. However, the car had a clean Carfax. And also, the reason I believe that that car was listed as a track instead of the R spec that it truly is because whenever the car got into an accident, they put a 3.8 track or a 3.8 ultimate trunk on the car. It had the wing and everything and the brake light, and I doubt the brake light even worked because those cars, I don't think they have a, I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But basically, it was a 3.8 R spec labeled as a 3.8 track. It had a clean Carfax, but clearly the car had been wrecked. So unfortunately, that listing, like I said, no longer exists. So I can't show you guys an example of what to look out for, but just know dealerships are shady and you got to do your own research before getting one of these cars. So now, to answer the questions once and for all, is the Genesis Coupe a reliable car, and is the Genesis Coupe a good first car? I mean, in my opinion, I gotta say yes. So far, like I said, this car has really only cost me about $400 a year in maintenance fees, and that's really not that bad. It's literally just regular routine oil changes, and that's about it. Having the tires rotated and whatnot. But yeah, man, if you guys are looking for a good first sports car that's really not that expensive for what it provides, this, in my opinion, is by far the best choice. I mean, for the money, you're not gonna get a faster, better looking car. Like, it's just not possible. And like I said, it has also been super reliable to me. You guys let me know down in the comments below how your Genesis has been so far, if it's been reliable, if it's been a money pit, if it's been a pain, if it's just been an awesome experience. Just let me know how your ownership experience has been so far. But yeah, that is really going to wrap it up for this video, everybody. I just want to give you guys another quick update. The big mod that I was talking, well, one of the big mods that I was talking about, the one that's ordered, has still yet to ship. It's literally been over a week since I ordered the thing. I'm probably going to call later today or tomorrow and just try and figure out what's going on. So hopefully that will ship very soon. But in the meantime, I've got some more smaller, still big, but smaller mods coming in that I cannot wait to share with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But yeah, like I said, that is all for this one, everybody. If you guys like this video, do not forget to drop a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Peace out. I will see you guys in the next one.